So welcome back to another episode, and today I'm going to look back into the past and look at the launch of the original Switch and also look into the future of what we all want from the Switch 2 and some of my predictions. I will ask you guys, are you excited about the upcoming announcement for the Switch 2 in March 2025? And also, what has the Switch meant to you as a fan, as a collector, as a game player? Let me know down below. Now, it's amazing to think back to March 3rd, 2017, we got this, the Nintendo Switch. And we didn't know what to expect. We all had high hopes. A lot of people were saying Nintendo is doomed after the Wii U. There's quite a few people saying that, but I always keep, a little bit of hope. The glass is always half full for me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm excited about what Nintendo's got planned for this console. Yes, the Wii U was a bit of a rocky road, but I did enjoy so many games on it. But then we had this brand new system and I was like, what is this going to be about? And I remember my friend Victor Lucas got one early and he invited me over to see his. And I was a bit of a noob at the time. I don't know why. I was totally caught off guard about how small it was at the time. It's such a small little console. I was like, oh, it's not the dock? I didn't really know. And then testing the Joy-Cons. These things were so unique and so interesting and you just kind of clicked them on. And I was like, this is amazing. So you could play on a TV and take it with you. This stuff is now history. We all know this so well, but at the time it was a remarkable thing. And I've spent many times since then in the park playing my Nintendo Switch and look at all these games. Look at all these games. When the system first launched, I could never have imagined I'd be sitting here with 200 plus games and calling the machine my favorite of all time. I didn't know that at the time. I just thought, oh, it's gonna be cool. I can't wait to play the next Mario game and stuff. And obviously Breath of the Wild. But it was one game that sold me and sold millions of people. And it wasn't Breath of the Wild. It was 1-2 Switch.
Joy-Con rotation.
No, sorry, I had to add that one joke in there. That was the biggest, strangest launch game. You had Breath of the Wild, which was a system seller and one of my favorite games of all time. And then I played this and I'm like, what is going on here? It was such a novelty trying to show off the system's capabilities and it massively failed. I remember playing this with Vic and when we do milking cows and things, I'm like, what is happening?
Milk.
And so that was a bit of a weird thing for the launch, but it was fantastic how the system was going to do over time. I even loved the controller. The controller was amazing, and I still, to this day, think this is one of the best controllers Nintendo's ever put out. I think it's brilliant. And whenever I pick it up, so easy to get into, and I've used it for every single game on the system. Yeah, and I'll ask you guys, what are some of your favorite games on the Nintendo Switch? Just before I was doing this episode, I was going through all of these games, and I'm like, oh my God, I really love my collection. For me personally, I was looking at all these games. Look at this, just right off the bat, it's like Chrono Cross is here. There's just so many. Tears of the Kingdom. I could gush and gush about the software and all of the amazing games over the years, but we already know all of that. We already know all of that. But I wanted to look at the past for a second to look into the future.
Come on.
So coming up in March 2025, there will be an announcement of the next Nintendo Switch 2. And I have a lot of theories about things. I'm sure a lot of you do as well. I cannot wait to see the launch of this system. I will be there that morning whenever it's announced, that trailer, and I'll be like this, give this to me, because I am so excited about what Nintendo has got planned, because right now with the Switch 2, it really has quietened down quite a bit. There's still some great games coming out, especially into 2025 with Xenoblade Chronicles X getting announced. What an announcement. What an announcement. I mean, me and Kim were like, oh my God, and I'm like already planning my video for Goodbye Kim when that game comes out. So the Nintendo Switch still has a little bit of life left in it, especially with games like Mario and Luigi Brothership. But it's amazing that it will be 8 years in 2025 in March from the original getting launched, and we've had a lot of time to really take all of this in over the years, playing all of the great games and sharing some of these games with your friends. It's been a heck of a ride when you think about it. When you think about 8 years of the Nintendo Switch come 2025, what a ride. So what do I want with the Switch 2? The Switch 1 has already done so much. I love the new OLED screen, that was amazing. I even loved the Switch Lights all in one. This was a really solid little device. So what can they do? What are they gonna do going forward? My answer to this is, why fix which is not broken? I honestly think the Nintendo Switch is such a brilliant design for on the go and staying at home that why do we really need to change it that much? The one thing that I really would like is a bigger screen. I'm already happy with the screen, but maybe a bit bigger of a screen, maybe a bit more high res, but the OLED screen was absolutely brilliant. Yes, no Joy-Con drift this time would be also absolutely amazing, and I would really like a better online mode. Yes, they said they're gonna probably transfer over the online mode that's already there. I just wish people could have gamer tags rather than a long number. It was never something that I really enjoyed. Like, people say, oh, send me your friend code, and I'm like, oh, 178, I'm tired. And I just would love everybody to have their own gamer tag name. Why not? Why not? I would like that to be changed, and I hope I don't have to buy my games again. Hopefully the online system is the same as last time. I hate that, because Nintendo was doing that for a while. Every new system you'd have to buy new games again from old systems like the Super Nintendo and from the NES, and no, I just want them all in one thing that can carry on from system to system to system. I don't want to buy Earthbound again for the 50th time. I don't. I love Earthbound, but I don't want to buy it once again. And one announcement that they made warmed my heart. It warmed my heart looking at all of these right here, that yes, the Switch 2, it has been announced that it will have full backwards compatibility with the original Switch. Oh, bravo Nintendo, bravo. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But Nintendo has answered the call and given us everything that we want with the Switch 2. No matter what they do with the hardware, with the bigger size and all of this kind of stuff, better screen, all that. Giving us backwards compatibility is the greatest thing that they could ever give to us. And that means, once again, obviously we're doing cartridges again. Why would we not? They've worked out really, really well, as long as you don't taste them. Remember that whole thing in the beginning of the Switch when people were tasting the cartridges? My God, that was a weird time. So for hardware, that's kind of what I want, the general gist. That's it. Just give me the Switch once again. Just give me this machine once again. Just a bigger screen, maybe better resolution, which as I said, the OLED was really, really great. And just make it a little bit more solid with these guys here, because it does feel always a little bit loose. It does. And it's one thing you have to call out. So if we can change that, that'll be great. The kickstand on the OLED worked perfectly fine for me. I thought that was great for playing games on the go or on the screen. Perfect stuff. So that's what I want from hardware. What do I want from games? Now, one game we know we'll be getting for the Nintendo Switch and for the Switch 2 will be Metroid Prime 4. The longest game ever coming in the history of video games on the planet Earth. Yes, finally, we're gonna get Metroid Prime 4. I'm very excited about this game, and yes, it will come out on the Switch and on the Switch 2. Will it be a launch game? I'm guessing, probably so. Probably so. But here's the interesting thing. Has Nintendo ever launched a system with just a Metroid game as its headliner? Will Metroid Prime 4 be enough for the mass market? And I'm not talking about us hardcore fans that will eat it up day one, but for the mass appeal for like a mom and dad buying a new system for their kid. Are they gonna go, oh, Metroid Prime 4, this is what I'm gonna buy for my kid? Because Nintendo always has that aspect to have a generalness to some of their games to bring in a mass audience. So will Metroid Prime 4 be their only game at launch? I don't think so. And this is where we speculate and have some fun. I believe, and I would really hope, that they would have a Mario game at launch. That would be something else. I can't see them having a Zelda game. ready for launch. That seems a little too soon, especially after Tears. I think we'll get that a little bit into the Switch 2 lifespan. But a Mario game, when you think about it, Mario Odyssey, where's that been for a while? I mean, there hasn't been a real updated Mario game for a while. We've got to look to Bowser's Fury, that add-on to Super Mario 3D World, which is right here. And that was the big selling point for me, to be able to play Bowser's Fury. And it kind of showed you the direction that they could go in with a Mario game. And what do I want? I would love an open world Mario game that you can go anywhere. That would be amazing. I get really excited thinking about the possibilities of where they can go. But Bowser's Fury kind of showed the germ of where they can go with the next generation Mario game. And I'm telling you, after playing Astrobot, man, I can't wait to see what Nintendo is going to counter with, because Astrobot is one of the games of the year for this year for Sony, and what an action platformer. And let me be the first to say, it took so many things from the original Mario game, it's not even funny. It's crazy how much they took. But it's funny, why not steal from the best? And they were stealing from the best with the past Mario games. And so it's going to be fascinating to see what a next generation Mario game has in store. Will it be a launch game? That remains to be seen in March, but I'm crossing my fingers.
Oh yeah! Woohoo!
Now, speaking of launch games, every launch game is not going to be a Mario game or a Metroid Prime 4. You know, looking back to the 1-2 Switch right here, I'm looking back to the past, and something that I've wanted for a long time, for the last couple of generations with Nintendo, I want a return to Wave Race. Remember when Nintendo used to launch with Wave Race? They did it on the N64, they did it with the GameCube, and I remember getting Luigi's Mansion and Wave Race for the original GameCube and sitting all day playing it, and really, you know, it whet my appetite waiting for the next games I was, looking forward to. I was really enjoying just casually going around racing, pulling off moves. I like Wave Race. I'm a fan of Wave Race. And I remember you could always tell what a next generation console for Nintendo would be based on the water physics. They did it with Wave Race on the N64, and when I saw the water physics for the GameCube, I'm like, we're in for a heck of a ride with this machine. And then we got the Switch, and there was no Wave Race, and I'm like, Nintendo has abandoned us. They don't care about Wave Race anymore, but I just want them to know that I still care, and I'd love to see that as a launch game. You know what, heck, even throw in a Pilot Wings game. I will buy that at launch just because for the pure novelty and the nostalgia of past Nintendo launches. Oh yes, Nintendo, there's another game that we would really, really love on the Switch 2. I'm gonna bring it out, I'm gonna summon it here. I'm summoning it right here. We need another F-Zero game. It's not out of the realm of possibility for a launch game. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Yes, we know there will be a next generation Mario Kart game without question, because that Mario Kart game we were playing there, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, was from the Wii U. And yes, they did a lot of updated graphics, they did a lot of updated levels, but it still was from the Wii U. So is there room for two, racing games? I would like to think so, and that's another thing that we're absolutely getting is another Mario Kart racing game, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I thought the last game was a 10 out of 10 game. How do you improve on it? That's for them to figure out with the Switch 2. It also makes me wonder, because this was a big push for the system for the original Switch, and that was ARMS. And I was one of the few people that really enjoyed this game. I thought it was an awesome, kind of launch window game. I had a lot of fun with it. And I wonder if they'll go back to ARMS, or will they abandon it? Or maybe they'll bring out the sequel, Legs. And it's going to be fascinating to see the next generation Xenoblade games. I'm sure maybe they'll have a brand new name for them going forward, because they'll be on a new system. And also, thinking about Fire Emblem games, like Fire Emblem Engage is one of my favorite from the Switch era. I loved this Fire Emblem game so much. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see next generation Fire Emblem games, and also next generation Luigi's Mansion games. I mean, we're definitely getting those as well. And something I can honestly say that I'm looking forward to on Switch 2, and I know I've said I have never understood the hype for these games, is the next generation Pokemon game. And I think with the Switch for this generation, there's been so many Pokemon games, And I think they all hit the Switch graphically at the ceiling. And I kind of was like, okay, it's another Pokemon game, cool. But the graphics all kind of look the same after a while. They couldn't do anything more with the hardware. They did the best they could. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of a next generation Pokemon game, open world. That's going to be exciting. That will draw me back in. And as I said, I'm not a crazy Pokemon guy. I know Kim kind of really enjoys the games a little bit. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do on the new platform. Yes, and one thing I do expect is ports of older games like we got this generation. And let me tell you, I was very happy to have Super Mario RPG and Advance Wars come out. What a year. What a year. Like, I mean, it was so amazing to have all of these games coming out. And I don't mind ports. I don't mind ports, especially if we get updated ports to the Switch 2. So that way I can have all of my ports that were on the Switch 1 with the ports of the Switch 2 all together. And that's something, when you really think about it, the Nintendo library is going to be quite robust because you'll have all the Switch 1 games and all the Switch 2 games. I'm playing on hardware that's hopefully like a PS4 Pro. I mean, what Nintendo could do with those style of graphics will be very, very fascinating. And I think they've done amazing with what they could do with the Switch hardware. Look at Tears of the Kingdom. I couldn't believe what they pulled off in that game with the hardware. It's a remarkable achievement. It is, gameplay-wise and graphic-wise. They really knocked it out of the park with that one. So guys, are you excited about the Nintendo Switch 2? And also, what do you think of the Switch 1? Has it really been a fulfilling system for you? Are you somebody who does not have a Switch? That would be a fascinating comment down below. I would really love to see that. I'd love to hear the reasons why as well, because some of us have went kind of crazy on this machine and we've had a lot of fun, and I think we just want other people to have fun as well, the same that we kind of had. So I'd be fascinated to know why maybe you didn't pick one up. But for everybody else, what is the Switch meant for you? And are you excited about the Switch 2? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.